What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of The Real Dill. I'm your host, Dylan Collins, as usual. As always, really. You know, who else is going to step in? That other Dylan Collins? He's a bitch. Tell him to fight me. Tell him to catch me outside. Catch me outside before 10 p.m. This podcast is being recorded at about 9 o'clock, or the eve before California goes into a statewide curfew. Can you believe that? A statewide curfew? Who the fuck saw that coming? I certainly didn't. I know a lot of people said that shit would happen when Trump was elected. They panic, everybody. We're going to have curfews and Hitler and... But no, it's not Trump. It's our own governor, Governor Newsom. Thanks a lot. 10 p.m. curfew? Why? Why? That's my question. I can understand all the other shit. Like, recently, Governor Newsom got in trouble because he was at a birthday party after, you're like, well, you wear your mask, and don't fucking go anywhere. And then here he is going places, probably not wearing his mask unless the cameras are looking at him. But that's the type of guy he is. That's the kind of guy he is. And that's fine. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Go ahead. Go to parties. Have fun. Doesn't bother me. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing everything that Governor Newsom is doing. So don't get mad at me because I'm just following in the lead of our leadership. That's how it is. That's what we're doing. And now Governor Newsom has said that we're going to have a 10 p.m. curfew. All of California? Even places like Chester? Why? Why do places like Chester have to fall under this shit too? We're not like Kansas, where there's like 2 cities and then just countryside and like fucking tornado disaster areas. California is so diverse. You cannot just implement these orders. Maybe, I never thought I would say this, but I think those goddamn people that are like, don't tread on me, and not the military ones that wear it on their fucking sleeves. I'm talking about the ones that like fly it in their windows and like put it on the back of their trucks that usually break down on the side of the road. Don't tread on me. Maybe we should have the state of Jefferson. It'd be a better place to live than California. I'll bet you would have way less COVID rate. If we had cut California up into several sections, you would see, it wouldn't just be like, oh, there's so much COVID here in California. I mean, maybe there is right now. I really don't know. Looks like maybe we're going to have a lot of COVID. 99% survival rate, baby. Put that to the test. 10 p.m. curfew. Just ridiculous, man. What I want to see is body cameras put on these officials. I know it's not just Governor Newsom. Let's hold them all accountable. Let's hold them all accountable and be like, what the fuck are we doing? I want to see a body camera footage on Governor Newsom for Thanksgiving. He says that we have to be 6 feet apart outside and less than 10 people are there. Bitch, let's see what you're doing on Thanksgiving. There's probably more than 10 people just cooking his fucking dinner. They're probably a bunch of illegals cooking his dinner. It's probably delicious because they're not from this country because we suck at cooking here. And they're probably just doing their thing. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have with it is the hypocrisy. This is the guy that's like, you better stay at home, wear your mask. And then he's out at fucking parties. You know, Nancy Pelosi getting her haircut and doesn't even know the rules. I get it. Knowing the rules is stupid. Why would you know the rules? Why would you follow them? They're also stupid. But if you're making them, you have to. You have no choice. You signed up for that job. It's like joining the military and being like, well, they're yelling at me a lot, and I don't like the way they're treating me, and it's not fair. I'm an American. It's like, yeah, you are, but you fucking signed up for this job. You should have known what you signed up for. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you did not know, and I can believe that. That's no excuse for not knowing. You can't just show up to the test and be like, well, I didn't know the answers. They're like, yeah, bitch, I know. You so fucking failed the test. That's on you. That's on you. Like, I can't just look at my life and look how fucked up it is and how shitty my life is and be like, well, it's everybody else's fault. No, bitch, this is my fault. These are my mistakes. It all started smoking weed, man. That's what fucked my life up initially. I remember, like, when I was smoking weed back in freshman year of high school, I used to leave campus. Our high school had off-campus lunch for the sophomores, juniors, and seniors. But just the freshmen had on-campus lunch. They had a separate lunch period. But my dumbass was like, the rules don't apply to me. So I used to leave with this other group of losers, and we'd go to this other guy's house, and we'd smoke weed out of a can in his backyard. And we did that every day. And these were the best days of my life. At least that's what I thought back then. I used to remember being so fucking high. Just so hot. Where, you felt like you had frog legs when you were walking back. Like, it was like, whoa, that's how the motion felt, dude. It was just, you couldn't even describe it. Just awesome. And I was like, these are the best days of my life. And I was right, I guess, to this point. We had a lot of fun. But it catches up to you. You can't just keep having fun like that. You can't. You will get caught doing the things that you're doing. I got in trouble twice for smoking weed. The first time I got caught smoking weed was in 8th grade. In 8th grade, I had weed, and I brought it to school, and I smoked it. And it was awesome, because I was high as fuck in 8th grade. Great time to be high, by the way. One of the best times to be high there is, really. There should be smoke breaks for people in 8th grade. Not 7th grade. They're pussies. But people in 8th grade. If you're in 8th grade, you're like the king of the castle there. Those are good fucking times. The classes are not that difficult. I mean, unless you take hard classes, but what kind of idiot are you? Have fun. Smoke weed in the bathroom. Like I did. I remember when we got caught smoking weed, it was a buddy of mine and myself. We were both in the bathroom stall in the men's room. We're in the big stall because we're not fucking gross and degenerate. It's not like if you're in the small stall and you're getting fucked in the ass or something, that makes sense because you can get your legs and your arms against the sides of the stall. You can get that good traction so you don't get thrust into the toilets or something like that. Nothing bad happens, okay? We're in the big stall, and I hear the door open as I have the pipe and all this crazy shit in my hand. And then I fucking step up onto the toilet seat, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, trying to be all sneaky and shit. And it was a teacher. He wasn't fooled. Immediately knocks on the stall. He's like, hey. He probably saw us go in there. I mean, they have cameras all over these fucking schools. He's like, hey, what are you doing in there? And we come out. I throw all my shit in my bag, and we're like, oh, fuck. And he's like, yeah, what are you doing? And there's only two possibilities, and neither one of them are good. Either we are doing some gay shit, probably not the first time he's encountered that. He probably wanted that to be the case. He was kind of a weirdo himself. If it was some gay shit, he'd be like, well, I don't have to turn you guys in. I'm sure we could figure something out. But it wasn't that. It was some drug shit, and motherfucker takes us to the office. They search us. I actually took the rap for the whole thing. I took the rap for 4 other people because there's other retards that wanted to be cool like me and my homie. We weren't cool. We were losers. But other losers that were like, hey, maybe we can elevate ourselves to not so much loser status and hang out with Dill and Collins, weed smoking 8th grader. And I guess I did. They hung out with me. I took their drugs. I hid their shit. And I got sent to a continuation school, which was one of the best times of my life. Continuation school was one of the best times of my life. You learn a lot of cool stuff. You learn how fucking people hang out outside of the norm, I guess you could say. These are the people that I was like, damn, dude, they're having fun. They're having a good time. And most of them are dead now. And that's fine. We were all going to die anyway. COVID's going to take over. The second time I got caught smoking weed was in my freshman year. My freshman year at PV, at my lunchtime, when I'm not supposed to be off campus, caught smoking weed by Chico PD. And I had left lunch. God, we must have done this 100 times. No, not that many. There's only 160 days or some shit of school. But we had to have done it 50 times. We'd done it a ton of times. We had done it so much that the guy's house that we used to go smoke weed at, I won't name him on the podcast, but you know what I'm talking about if you're watching. We used to go to his house. It was real close to campus, and we went there so much that his fucking parents hella knew that we were going there. We'd leave evidence and shit behind, cigarette packets. Everybody was smoking cigarettes back then. These are real losers in high school. And like we were so confident we would leave our fucking can pipe behind. I think we left like cigarette packs and other shit in his barbecue. And one day his like stepdad found it and beat his ass. And rightly so, had it coming, shouldn't have been letting all those people over at your house. But we just kept going there. And even afterwards, they put a lock on it. We would just jump the fence because we knew it was a safe space. It was just all bad, okay? It was all bad. And finally, we got caught. We went to another spot because we were like late to leave. And we're like, we can't walk all the way to his house. It's too far. We'll be late. Because you don't want to be late. God forbid, you'll get in trouble. You'll have to do detention if you're late. So we leave campus. We go to a different spot that's not very far away. As we're walking back, CPD drives by. They cruise us. He's like, looks like some sketchy-ass people. Flips around, starts questioning us. And I am so high at this point. I'm like belligerently high. And I know I'm fucked. You know when you know you're fucked and you're just like, fuck it. Let's do this. Let's go. So we get busted. We go down. Takes all day to get busted smoking weed. So if you're a young child watching this, an adolescent, and you are smoking weed at school, do not get caught because it'll take all fucking day. You might as well have not gotten high. Just save your weed for after school like a responsible person, okay? Got sent to a continuation school again. I should have been expelled. White privilege at work, for sure. Because when I went to my expulsion hearing, it started out with, I've never let somebody come back who's been caught more than once smoking marijuana. And he probably has, but that's how they talk to you. Like, you know how the judges do and the fucking vice principals. This was the principal, Principal Shepard. Shout out Principal Shepard, Pleasant Valley High School. He let me come back. He did. He was like, oh, he's playing football. He's playing football, and he wants to play baseball, and he's white. If I was a fucking black guy or like a Mexican, really, if I was a Mexican, because those are the ones that were like gangbanging and sketchy and shit at my school. The black guys, they were all preppy. There was no ghetto black guys at Pleasant Valley High School. They were all on the football team, and they were good at it too because, they were black. They were way faster and could jump higher than me. But I was still on the team, and it meet the quota. My STAR test scores were fine. So they let me come back, and that was cool. That was fine. It was what it was. I added to PV statistics. I graduated, So it all worked out in the end. What a gamble. I remember another time, I continued to smoke weed in high school. I think it stopped there. Like, I used to ditch the rallies. Because, who wants to go to the rallies? I mean, looking back, I kind of wish I went because there was, like, some fun stuff. Like, one time they had a thing of plexiglass with peanut butter on both sides, and they had, like, they had the ugliest woman. She looked like a fucking dude. She was, like, a big, burly, Viking-looking woman. And then they had one of the gym teachers who was young. He looked like me. So they're, like, they're looking back and forth on the plexiglass, and it was hot. No, it wasn't at all. It was disgusting, but it was hilarious is what it was. So I missed out on shit like that. But one day, my friends and I, we decided to pile in the car. Let's ditch. We went to Krispy Kreme Donuts, and we wanted to smoke weed so bad. Like, we had all the weed and all the stuff, and it just wasn't a good scene at Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme was just a tough scene for that. Like, there was just a lot of people. And the parking spot we got was, like, right in the middle. And it was just, like, boiled down to, fuck it, we're not going to smoke. And then we ate our Krispy Kreme donuts, and then we went back to school. And thank God we didn't smoke that day, because they decided to crack down. Like, this was a day that they were like, no more people are leaving fucking campus and coming back stoned. So, and I ended up leaving all my weed stuff in my buddy's van. And I was like, whatever, I'll come get it after fucking school or whatever. It'll be easier that way. Because, like, my car was across campus or something. It was already a pain in the ass to go get the weed. That's why I wanted to smoke so bad. It was a pain in the ass. And it's awesome being high at school, isn't it? But we don't smoke. We get stopped. They bring over more security, campus supervisors, and they search us. And we had nothing on us, thank God. But if they had gone back and searched the car, they would have found shit. But I think just the fact that we had nothing on us in that moment was proof that we probably didn't have anything on us. Because what high schooler has weed, leaves campus, and comes back sober? Luck of the draw, man. Just, it's like finding $1 on the ground, you just fucking count it as a blessing. and move forward. You know, destiny told us that smoking weed it made us not smoke weed that day, so we didn't get in trouble. I graduated Pleasant Valley High School, not a continuation school, so shout out me. And then I had to grow up and get DUIs, so that's where I went after high school. I went to DUI school, is what it is. I got caught for DUI when I was 21 years old, and it was a fucking tough time, dude. Like, I got caught drinking and driving. I went down to the open mic in Yuba City, Cellar and Suds, with my buddy, and I won't name his name because we don't name names on this podcast. But we go down there, we do the open mic, and we come back and go to Riley's because, like, I was just going to drop him off at Riley's, but I'm a degenerate, and I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to be part of the hang, you know? That's half of the fun of stand-up, is the hang afterwards. So I think he was one of those guys at Riley's. You know who I'm talking about if you live in Chico. These people that can just get drinks, they'll just pour them. They're like, what's up, dude? Fucking shots are on the counter waiting for you, bitch. We knew you were coming. He's one of those guys whose homies there. And Riley's, if you don't know, it's the diviest college bar in Chico. Like, when they talk about, oh, Chico's a college town, Riley's is an epitome of why Chico's a college town. The floors are sticky. Careful with your drink. Somebody's going to date rape you. So we're in Riley's drinking. I decide to leave because I'm just tired and fucked up. And I'm like, God, I got to go home so bad. I get into my grandma's Prius, which I had driven down there. Because at this point, I think I didn't have my Honda Civic. I was in between cars or something and got pulled over. And it wasn't my fault. It was my drunkenness' fault. Let's put it like that. I blew the red light on 2nd Street. And then 1st Street and Ivy, they have like Ivy blocked off for a construction zone. But it looked like maybe you could weasel your way through it or something. So I'm like, I wait till it turns green and I just drive straight into it. And there's a woman construction worker, and I'll never forget the look that she had on her face when she's looking at me as I'm creeping towards her, and she's like, and she looks over, and she's like, the fucking unanimous sign. She gives me the old, you know, what people do when they're like, yo, pull this bitch over. And there's a Chico State PD sitting there waiting for me, and he fucking pulls me over. As I back out of the spot, and then I try to turn down the other way. The motherfucker just pulls up right behind me, gives me a Dewey. They take me to, before he gives me the DUI, he arrests me for it, and then he takes me to NLO because I refuse to blow. I wasn't going to blow, dude. Fuck that. Let's go. Let's see how this turns out. And it turns out that it doesn't turn out so well for you. I don't know how they deal with it in all areas. Every area, every person has a different experience for everything. But my experience for this DUI was they were not fucking around. They called in backup. There was like 8 cops around me. And 2 of them grabbed me to the ground, or they tackled me to the ground, and then they take my fucking blood with my hands behind my back, face down on the entrance of Enloe. And I am just fucked at that point. It was Officer White. Shout out Officer White for Chico State PD. And I'll never forget, I look up at this other guy, and there's this black dude right in my face who's like, bro, let me just get you up. And he's like trying to be nice. He's the most professional cop of the whole force. And I look right at him, I'm like, what are you, Officer Black? Tell Officer White to get off me. And he just laughed at me. He knew I was just having a rough fucking night, man. You could tell that Officer Black, presumably, was just one of those people that had gotten caught up in the system, just like I had. And that was just his job, you know? He wasn't a lifer cop like Officer White, who was like driving his fucking knee right into my neck, taking my blood like a dick. They get excited about DUIs. They really do, though, so I deserved it. I wasn't like very drunk, but I was like drunk enough where I should have known better. I think I blew a 1.5, and that's just, you can't do that, man. That's just irresponsible. You learn your lesson, you become a better person. That's what you do. You just do that. And then I took that advice and I moved forward, and I got my second DUI. Got the second one going back from a show I had in Sacramento. I was coming back, and I got stopped in Yuba City, like past Yuba City where the train tracks are on 99. What happened was a buddy of mine, won't name his name because we don't name names on this podcast. We probably already have. Somebody's like, motherfucker, you named me by name. So my buddy and I, we're driving back from Sacramento, and the train crossing starts fucking like going off. And a little backstory is we were running out of gas at this point. Like, I had tried to get gas, but My card was declined. I was very broke. It was a tough time in my life. So I had no gas, and I was living on a prayer. We're just trying to get to Gridley so we can get to the gas station. And the fucking train bells start going off, and my buddy's like, bro, you got this. And it got to my head. I was like, he's right. I got this. So we fucking plow through that shit. We don't like plow through it. We just go through it. We had plenty of time. Like, it really wasn't an illegal thing that we did, in my opinion. It was just like, it was like going through it in yellow. Like, I think we made it. And we did. We made it fine. And we're going down the road. And like 30 seconds later, this other guy fucking goes through the lights. And I see him coming up behind us. And I'm like, holy shit, that guy fucking made it too. That guy's got some balls on him. Then he lights us up and takes me to jail for my second DUI. And I didn't fight this one. I just went with the process. Is what it is, baby. It just is what it is. So that's where I'm at right now in life, is with 2 DUIs. I have those 2 fucking minor marijuana possessions. Is what it is. I don't even like smoking weed anymore. I don't even really like drinking anymore. So looking at that, maybe go forward and just that's part of the lessons in life. It certainly has taught me what an addictive personality I have. I have one of the most addictive personalities there is out there. I smoked cigarettes for 2 years and I quit that, which is kind of bananas because those are very addicting. But I just didn't really like the high it gives you. I quit that shit cold turkey too. I just stopped buying them one day. And I'm good thing I did, because now I'm at risk of COVID. So if I get COVID, how am I going to smoke cigarettes? It probably would kill me. If I was like a cigarette smoker and I fucking got COVID and then I couldn't breathe already and I tried to smoke a cigarette because I was so desperate for nicotine. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm not going to do that. And it's hard to avoid cigarettes when you're a comic, because all these other comics are smoking around you when you do shows or open mics. Everybody's smoking. So, and it's very tempting because you're like under a lot of pressure, worrying about your set and stuff. So any little high, you're like, yes. I know better than that now, though. I know better than to go take a drag of somebody's cigarette. It's not going to make my set better. It's not going to make anything better. I mean, maybe after my set or something, I will, just because just for shits and giggles. But, like, I'm not going to smoke weed before my set. I might smoke weed earlier in the day or something, but, like, right before my set, I'm not going to go up front and, like, hit up this fucking session. There's no way. It will not help me. It will make me more nervous, and it's going to hurt me. It's just something you learn to be better at. And something I am getting better at is beer reviews. Started doing a lot of beer reviews. So, it's kind of an exciting thing. Doing the beer reviews. I like doing the beer reviews because the beer reviews allow me an opportunity to just drink beer at home. And I can just, like, put, like, a few beers in the fridge. And my grandma will be like, there's beers in the fridge? You bringing alcohol home? And then I can have the excuse. I'm like, no, Grandma, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking those beers. She's like, well, what are you doing with them? I'm reviewing them. That's what I tell her. I'm reviewing them. How else am I supposed to get content out there? I have fans that want to hear what I have to say about a beer like this one. Whatever beer this one might be. You'll see it on a review. So that's fun. And someday I do want to get sober. That is a goal. I want to be sober because I know that's the best person that I can be. And that doesn't necessarily mean, like, I don't want to ever drink again or something like that. It just means that, like, if somebody asks me, how many nights a week are you drunk? You're like, I mean, how many nights a month is a better estimate. That's what I mean. So, not getting drunk every day is definitely a goal. And we'll get there. We will get there. And I promise you, together, with your support, I can get anywhere. It's just part of the game, part of the game. Getting sober. I want to get sober, and someday I think I'll be able to. I don't know if it's going to be within next year. I kind of like getting drunk. So I kind of think I'm going to keep doing that, and maybe smoking less weed is an option too. I don't know. I like getting high. So fucking shoot me. Give me COVID. take me down. Listen, everybody, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been episode 3 of The Real Dill. And I've been your host, Dylan Collins. As always, have a good rest of your night /day /whatever the fuck.